In these two videos, I'm going to demo how we can use chart.js in a Django project. In the first part of the videos, I'm going to demo how to create a custom manager class to make a query in the database and also create respected views and URLs to render our data set. And in the later part of the videos, it's pretty much all about JavaScript and how we can utilize the APIs provided by chart.js to create a simple pie chart. So let's get on to it. So let's take a look at what we are going to accomplish after the end of the video. So I have my server open up already in Django. So when I click sign in, there will be a new link on navbar, and it's called chart. When I click on it, it shows nothing but a button, and when I click on that button, it will give me a pie chart, and this is done by using the API provided by chart.js. And it's a simple pie chart which shows days of attendance of a particular employee for a particular month. So the y-axis is the days of attendance, and the x-axis is the month for that attendance data. Let's first take a look at what our data look like in SQL Server. I'm not going to use the SQL Server Management Studio, but instead I'm going to use the ORM provided by Django. So first I have to turn on my virtual environment, and we'll do a simple shell and query the data from the SQL Server using Django's ORM. So my model is called salary, and when I query all data on the salary model, it will give me 7 items. So let's take a look at the first one. So this is what my model look like. It contains fields of employee ID, the month, days of attendance, and all the other data which give us the salary information of that employee for that month. But right now we are only going to use the month and days of attendance for the purpose of our pie chart. So to do that, I probably don't need all the information for the model. I just need 2 fields for that model. So what I'm going to do is create another manager function, which will help us to query the data that we want. So first, let's look at the manager class. So this is called salary manager, and the purpose of it is to query the data in salary model. So if we can take a look at the models class, this is our model, and here I define the custom manager, and it's called salary manager, and this is where I define the code here. So I'm going to create a new method to query the month and days of attendance And since I know there are like 7 items for that data, I'm only going to use the latest 5 because I don't know how how many pie charts chart.js can fit in, but there is a limit. So I'm only going to query the latest 5. So I'm going to name my function latest 5 month attendance. So to query the data, I first need to provide the employee ID. So this is the fun part where we do our query here. So first I need to filter all the data that belong to the employee. So I'm going to get that information by passing in the employee ID that is provided to this function as an argument. And since I'm going to query the latest 5, I have to do an order, a sort based on descending order of month. And after that, I can just get 2 fields that is of our interest: month and days of attendance. And lastly, we do the latest 5. Let's print out what we have so far. And we need a way to call this method. And again, we can utilize shell provided by Django. So I have to close it and open it again. And again, we have to do an import. So from salary, I now have a new method to query the database, and it's called latest 5 month attendance. And remember, we have to pass in our employee ID. So this is the data we get. This is what it looks like and when we use value sets method to further filter out the query set. But this will be difficult to display the data in pie charts. So I'm going to manipulate a little bit of that data. And in the end, I would like to see my data look like this way. So I will have a JSON data, and there is like a dictionary with two keys. One is month, and it will return a month list, and another one is attendance, which will return days of attendance, also compiled as a list. So let's take a look how we can do that. And because right now the query set returns something like a tuple, so to use both value of tuple, you can actually do it this way. So the first value will be month, and the second one will be days of attendance. And if we do it under a loop, it will just loop everything. And we can actually use the same shell we were using, because after we update our codes, we have to quit the shell and then enter it again. So this is what we we will have. It's a dictionary, and it gets a key of month, and it returns 5 data entry of month, and also another key of attendance, and another 5 data entry of days of attendance. So this is good. We need a new template to display our pie chart. So I'm going to add 2 new URLs. One is for the new template page. Basically, it's just a empty HTML page. And another one is the one that we are going to use to query the data. And because the data query part is done using JavaScript, so this is like a function view, and what you will return is data of in JSON format. So let me first open up URL, and for the template page, I'm going to name it chart. And the name of the view will be attendance chart. Give it a name, attendance chart. Attendance chart. And next, I'm going to add another URL, and it's called attendance. So the view will be a simple function view. I will give it a name, but this will not be used actually. But I'm just doing this because this will show like all the URLs are in consistent format. So this gives me some warnings because I have not defined those views in my views.py file. So next I'm going to do that in views file. And again, for the chart URL, this is like a template view, which I have done before, and I have subclass the employee detail with a parent class of template view. And if you can see that, it's actually a generic view provided by Django framework. So for the purpose of this simple template view, I'm going to do that again. So the view is actually pretty simple. I'm just going to give it a name, class name, attendance chart, and subclass that of template view, and also give the model class. And this is actually required by when you subclass template view, but in my example, I won't use it actually, because the data will provide it using JavaScript. And also I need to provide a template name, which is the location of my HTML page. So after I created the attendance chart, the arrow for that chart URL will go away. But next we're going to do the functional view. I'm just going to hard code my employee ID here because there's only one employee in my data set. The last thing that we need to do is just to turn attendance into JSON formatted data. But to do that, we cannot use the serializers provided by Django because this serializer is only used for queryset type of data and not for other type of data. And right now what we have is like a dictionary data, and so actually I can just import the standard library provided by Python. So it's called json. So we just do a simple dump of that attendance, and it will return the JSON that we want. So again, what I'm going to return is a JSON response. To add a new link in navbar here. So to do that, I have to do that in HTML, base HTML page. And let's see if that works. So I have two new links here. So this one works. And how about the other one? It should all work.